Let me show you how to save some money. That's right, folks. Today, we're gonna go to my favorite store, Broward Meat and Fish, and I'm gonna show you how to save boatloads of money on steaks. So I know when I go to the store, I wanna get the best possible steak I can. Well, there's a secret to it. There's a secret way to save an absolute ton of money, and it involves buying primals, big giant pieces of meat. So I'm gonna take you inside this store, show you their meat cases, show you their meats, and show you how to make delicious steaks on a budget. Now, this is the cool part here. We're in our beautiful store here, and you can see this gorgeous rack of all these meats here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna buy what's called a primal, all right? We're gonna go with strip loins today, New York strips. We're gonna go with choice, all right? We wanna keep it, somewhat human priced here. So we're gonna go with a choice, and you can see this is only $7.99 a pound when you buy the whole thing here, as opposed to buying an individual steak. Now let's go to the butcher's case and see what the individual steaks cost. All right, so we've got our individual steak here. You can see it's New York strip choice, $13.99 a pound. Now, when you buy the whole thing like this, it's a lot cheaper, $7.99 a pound. So let's take them both and head to the house. Look at my little meat baby I have here. Welcome back to my humble abode, everybody. So we've got our giant piece of meat here. You know, I love doing this because, like I said, you can get better pricing, better quality meat, and then you have meats on hand too. So the good news about this meat is that at Broward Meat and Fish, they wet age their products for like 3 weeks. So this has been sitting there wet aging, so it's gonna be the best possible quality that we could possibly have. Now, let's open her up. Now, when you look for one of these, okay, I'm always gonna look for one with the least amount of liquids in the packaging itself. It means all the liquids inside of here. Because they wet age there so long like this, it tends to kind of seep out at the end because it's already absorbed the maximum amount of moisture it's going to. So always look for a piece of meat with the least amount of liquids in the packaging. And now for the fun part, opening this baby up. So, I was thinking about this and I priced it out. So the one was $7.99 a pound, and the other was $13.99 a pound. So if you average it out by how many pounds this thing is, we saved ourselves over $80 by doing it this way. That's my kind of deal, if I might say so myself. Now, ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages, we're gonna blot this dry, kind of get it, just all the extra moisture off of it. Now, when you're looking at this, okay, remember that red, it's not blood, folks. It's myoglobin, okay? It's not blood, don't get all freaked out. Now that it's dried off, now, a couple things I want to cover on this before we start cutting, all right? You can see on this side, there's a lot of loose fat that's hanging off of here. Okay, on the other side, we got this big fat cap, but the same thing, there's a lot of just loose stuff that's hanging off here. We're gonna just trim all of this kind of stuff off of here, but you wanna leave that fat cap on there because what happens is that it protects it while it's being frozen. So, I'm gonna just trim the extra loose stuff off like this, get this off of here, then we'll get started on sectioning it. And this is the other side here. You can kind of see where this is attached to the ribs. I know it's a New York strip, but you can see this is where the rib meat was here, okay? So I kind of left it nice on there. But again, we're gonna do the same thing to this side. Just trim off all the extra loose stuff like this. Now you can see we got some fat left over from trimming it here, but that's okay. You don't have to throw it out. You can do the same thing that we did. You can do is make tallow. Do you ever see our video where we did that? Throw it in with your brisket trimmings. It's all good. You can use it to season pork, maybe if you want to increase your fat content in making sausage. There you go. That's what all this fat's good for. Me, I'm going to go put it inside for later. Not every one you get is going to get perfect. You can see this one. It has a pretty deep cut into it already. But you know what? That's fine because we're going to cut steaks in this that are about 3 fingers thick because I like to reverse sear my steaks and you want a nice thick steak for that. A reverse sear video. There's a good idea. Now let me tell you kids, this is where the big exciting part is. So we bought a single steak here, okay, and you can see it was $15.25. So I figured it out, and using 3 fingers, you can get about 9 steaks out of this. You know what that breaks down to? About $11.15 per steak. So you're saving about $4.50 per steak, and you get 9. Figure that out. That's some pretty damn good savings right there. You know what you can do with those savings? Order more charcoal, right there. Now, when it comes to cutting, obviously, here we always cut our steaks like this, right? You know in other countries, they actually cut them like this, and I've tried it, and it's actually really good because when you cut it, you have like little squares. It just works out real well. But for today's purposes, we're gonna cut them the normal way. You'll see we're gonna go 3 fingers wide, like I've said a number of times here, and we're gonna use that cut that was in the steak originally as a guideline for the first one. So let's go ahead and cut our first one. And my cutting board's pretty slippery here, so here's a little trick for you to prevent it from sliding around, okay? Just put down some paper towel, put your steak right on top of there. It ain't going nowhere. Now I see I cut 4 beautiful steaks off of this roast. Speaking of roast, I need this for a roast at the end of the year. Yes, you can actually do a New York strip primal as a roast. So I need something of this at the end of the month, so I'm gonna save this, vacuum seal it and freeze it along with these steaks right here. If you're ready to cook, then boom, your steaks are ready to cook. If you're ready to make a roast, your steaks are ready to roast. But I'm not cooking anything today. I just wanna show you how to save money and have food for a while. So we're gonna take these, use this, vacuum seal them up and show you how to freeze them. There are 2 things you could do now with your steaks in order to freeze them. You could put them in a regular plastic bag or wrap them in saran wrap, whatever, and then throw them in the freezer. They're gonna last you 2 to 3 months, but every day you're gonna lose a little bit of quality. But if you're using vacuum sealer bags like this, use a vacuum sealer, takes all the air out, takes all the moisture out, and seals them in there like that, it can last you 2 to 3 years in the freezer. So if you wanna have them for a longer time and maintain that good quality of how they are now, use your vacuum sealer, use your vacuum sealer bags. It's gonna make a big difference for you. When it comes to the equipment for vacuum sealing, okay, I got this one here, it's a taller model. If you have something like that, it's okay. And as far as the bags, you could use a roll, make your own bags, or you can buy them like this. They already come in pre-sized bags, and these are perfect for what we're gonna do today. Take our bag like this, and what you wanna try and do is not get moisture on here if you can. So just try and take your steak. If you can avoid touching the sides, just kind of drop it in, okay, and put it in there like that. Now, you can see we didn't touch anything up here. The nice part about doing it like this too is that if you're gonna sous vide your steaks, if you don't know what sous vide is, look it up. You can put butter in here now, you can put onions, you can put seasonings, you can put whatever you want right in this bag before you vacuum seal it. Then once you're ready, you just take it out of the freezer, you can drop it frozen right into your sous vide container, and your steak is all ready to go. It's a really nice way to go if you're gonna do sous vide. But let's seal this baby up because we're just gonna cook it like this when it's ready. Now, what I like to do here at this point, take a permanent marker. I'm just gonna write on here, New York strip. Okay, and that is the last one. Okay, so we're gonna put these on the pile here. One thing left to do, I got that roast. Let's show you how to seal a roast. Now, the next thing we have to do is make our roast bag. So, we're gonna make sure that we have enough bag here to fit the whole roast in. So, I'm gonna take this and just kind of hold it next to it. We've got plenty of bag here. I'm gonna leave myself some extra so that when we go to seal it, we have some extra plastic up there. Nice part about this one here is all I have to do is zip it across like this, and it cuts it, and we have ourselves one giant bag. I've already sealed it on the bottom, by the way. Now, when you're doing your roast, okay, you're gonna take the bag. Like I said, we don't wanna get the inside corner wet here, so we're gonna fold it down just a couple times, make a little cuff here, and then put our roast in. You can see that I have folded it down all the way here. So we're just gonna simply take our meat and just kind of wiggle it into there, okay? And then from there, we just unfold it over our roast. Like that, just keep unfolding. Voila, instant roast in a bag. And as you can see here, we got no meat on this. It starts touching it like down here. So this is nice and clean, should seal really nicely. Now on these bigger pieces like this too, you can feel free to push down and kind of force some of that air out the front. Don't be afraid to coax it out. And there we go, roast in a bag. You can see it sealed it up beautifully. All right, so now we can set this whole thing in the freezer just like this, and it's gonna stay shrink wrapped just like that till we are ready to use it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I give you vacuum sealed beef. How's that looking, okay? Now don't forget, you can put this in the freezer. It's gonna last you 2 to 3 years. Years, I tell you, and you're really not gonna lose much of its freshness at all. Do them for like a month or two, you'll never even know that they were frozen. They're fantastic. Just to reiterate on the sous vide, if you don't know what that is, it's circulated, monitored water at a certain temperature. It's gonna cook it evenly, but you can season this whole packet, like I said. Put all your seasonings in here before you seal it. When you take it out of the freezer, drop it right in your sous vide box and bin, and you're good to go. So, folks, this is how you can save yourself a ton of money. I don't know about you, okay? But I like this right here, right where it's supposed to be in my pocket. I don't want it in the store's pocket. No, I want to have it there in my pocket. That's where I like my money. In any case, you probably like yours there too. This is a great way to do it. It keeps your meat fresh, it keeps it for a long time, and it's going to hold the quality. So get yourself a vacuum sealer, get yourself a freezer, and get yourself some good steaks, because this is how you do it, all right? If you saw anything that we used in this video, such as these type of things, you know that there's always a link in the description. There's going to be also a blog all about how to do this down below. So if you missed something you're not sure, you can read about it down below. There's a link. I promise you it's there. So that's about all I have for you today, folks. I hope that you enjoyed this. I had a good time. I do this all the time. This is how I save myself some money, and I get to use a little bit better quality beef because of it. So I'll spend the same money, but buy a little better quality beef. So there you go. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. Get out and grill, and I'll see you the next time on the FOGO Life.